You can hold on. Leave it up. Be easier for both of us. More for that.
Public hearing number one, to order new medical marijuana store application for Bertrand E. Cloutier Jr., doing business as the Farm. Is that you folks?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public?
I'm gonna
Would you
behave.
like,
I'm gonna be good. Thank
would
you.
you folks like to say anything?
No, we just came tonight to make ourselves available. Anyone did make a comment, we give for it.
Okay.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Questions of the board? Or the public? Oops, sorry.
Where exactly is this located? First 314 Hebrew Road, what he's gonna ask. Yeah.
278 Main Street?
Oh,
728.
728. Yeah, 728 Main Street, straight by the fire.
Oh, I see it, okay. Everybody's across the road from the fire?
I think they included the map.
The building that used to be a
Cool. Isn't it cool?
medical facility.
Yeah, still is.
Still is.
What is that, Cohen's old building?
The long skinny building between by the fire and
Right.
the banquet place.
Yeah. All right, no further comment. I'll close the public hearing. Call the Selectmen meeting to order. Please join us in the flag salute.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Action on the minutes.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor? The vote? Or Cody abstained because he wasn't here. Adjustments to the agenda.
I have nothing, sir.
Public comments. Please state your name and town you're from for the record. Lois?
Okay. Down at the foot of the hill below Elvin, there were 3 cones on that piece that had completely gone out. And they're not there anymore. I don't know, they were there yesterday, but they aren't there today. And somebody really should have something there. If anybody gets over there and coming down those hills, they're coming down on our side anyway, so. Just let somebody know. It's right,
What was the location again?
right at the bottom of below Elvin Heights. Moonlight Lane.
Yep.
Moonlight Lane, yeah. But they were there 3 of them, but there aren't any there now, so.
They won't go. Too long.
Yes, they're clever, aren't they?
Anybody else? Mr. Penfold?
I talked to Kinston, and he told me to come to the board and ask. I was thinking about shrinking my junkyard down and putting housing out back. Don't know, he was saying modulars and house trailers, but wanted to get kind of the idea if the board would be interested, I guess, allowing me to do that. Basically, I was gonna take the back 4 acres and either put modulars or house trailers in there. And then fence off the junkyard for that.
That'd be a planning board issue.
Yeah, I don't know why Kingston would suggest you come to the select board. He either meets requirements of the planning board and code enforcement or.
Right, but he said just to come down and get a feel that if the select board would be open to it to start, this would be the start to do. You know, to see if there'd be any objections of me doing something like that.
As long as you met the town ordinance and codes. That's the
I
only
don't have any
I don't think there's anything the select board could even do about it.
Oh,
As long as
okay.
you're meeting code and
All right, well.
whatever's permissible in the ordinances.
I think it's something to do, because my place was, zoned as, I could pretty much do anything down there.
Mixed use?
Yeah, and now it's zoned as, and I never knew it got changed to rural. Whenever it got changed, have no idea. And he said that was another thing that I had to come to the board about. I don't know when they changed it, but when I bought it, it was mixed use, I could do anything there.
Really, planning board, yeah. I mean, if they approve it, we're okay with it.
Okay, so it wouldn't, the zoning wouldn't have to change or anything?
They're the ones that can answer all them questions.
Questions? They're the ones, I believe they're the ones that changed it. It went from mixed use to,
Yeah, because it's strange, I've got the airport, the sawmill, and all, my place, which was been in business for, that I've had it for 25 years, all of a sudden went to rural. So,
We'd have to look. You sure Kingston didn't say planning board, not select board?
no, he told me to bring it up, ask everybody here, and that was the start, and then I'm gonna get together with him,
Okay.
you know, as long as, you know, nobody was gonna object, he said, we'll go from there after that. So, if I get your blessing, then I'll talk with him, and we'll see what we can do, make some more housing around here.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? Business items, review, approve, new medical marijuana store application for Berkshire Cloutier Junior to business as the farm.
so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor? Vote.
What's that?
No,
Could you repeat?
Call these motion.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
It's a long table now. It's right here.
You need a special little thing over there.
5.2 abatement 39 for Michael and Lisa Robichaud. Account 1538 in the amount of $4.40.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion, all those in favor? Vote. 5.3 abatement for William and Lynn Jerzak, account 1577 in the amount of $11.44.
So,
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion, all those in favor? Vote. Abatement 31 for Deborah Page, account 1020, continued. Adam, you want to update us?
Sure. So this is the one that the board recalls that was discussed and it was tabled because the board was looking for further information and clarification from the assessing agent. The assessing agent has since done a site visit and would be glad to talk to the board about the condition of the structure and so forth, if you'd like, or would you like to just ask the assessing agent directly what the concerns were?
I would like her to explain the reason for your decision, please.
Last meeting or this meeting?
This change.
There is no, I don't have a different recommendation, I'm making the
Okay.
same recommendation.
So
It's-
then can you explain your recommendation then?
Certainly. This, last year when KRT went out to these properties on Marshall Pond was literally the first time the town got eyes on these properties. So they went out, they took pictures, they did all the measurements, things like that. So the properties on Marshall Pond that we just got photos of and all, they did experience a significant increase in valuation, but it isn't so much that the evaluation is inappropriate now, they've been, in my opinion, underassessed for a period of time. So this one here is a two-story camp on a beautiful lot on Marshall Pond, and it's in very good condition. The front of it needs a paint job, but the back of it is being painted. It was freshly painted, and there, I have some color pictures if you want to look at them. So the issues that were raised by the homeowner about why the valuation should revert back to the 22, 23 level is a lot of those reasons were not really applicable as part of the appraisal process. She cited like the difficulty in access, because it's not like a road right to the camp. You typically enter via the water route, things like that. So that is what we did. So several of us went out on the boat and accessed the camp the way that the homeowner does. And so we were able to inspect it, verify measurements, look at the condition. It's in very good condition. The lumber is sound. I did a solid review of all the lumber to make sure it was in good shape. It's well-maintained camp. And so with a little bit extra time, I took the, since we didn't have any sales on our side of Marshall Pond, Hebron underwent a 2023 reval as well with a different contractor. And I used comps from sales that were done on the Hebron side and compared them to the new valuations. And they're all in line, but to have, prior to the reval, this camp for Ms. Page was valued at $2,100, which is kind of like a big shed as opposed to a two-story camp on the waterfront. So the valuations done by KRT are much more in line with market values than they were previously. The issues that she raised about lack of access, things like that, the land around them is Page Family Forest, and it's in a conservation easement. But all of the rights that they would need to improve access, like putting in roads, they can't be paved, but they're allowed to put in all the roads that they want to. Those rights are set aside in the easement. And so a lot of the points that she raised that she thought would justify decreasing the assessment are actually in her control. I mean, things like access to emergency services, those rights are specifically spelled out. And the grantors still own all of that land. It's privately held land, they own it, and they can do what they want with it. So if they wanted to put in access roads, they could. This is privately held land, the town would not put in access roads.
How did you get in there
With a boat,
with the boat?
Chief Jack arranged for our game warden to take us out.
Okay, but there's no access road.
There are
And
some
they
logging
put it
roads in the property. I don't think any of them go directly to any of the camps. But Adam wouldn't let me hike in, so I can't say that specifically.
Yeah, but just, what I know of the camp or anything else is, even though they might own the land around it, you're saying that they can build a road,
Yes.
which goes to a cost to put something, to get into where they gotta be.
The easement specifically says that the right to build roads is held by the grantors, and they have the rights to build whatever roads that they want.
The way I look at it is, though, there are no roads there, and it should be assessed in the condition it's in, not what they could be doing.
You assess for highest and best use. There's nothing that we can do as the town to improve their access. That right to build roads is specifically held by the grantors in the easement.
I get that, but it's their choice whether they want to put it in. If they put the road in, that will increase their value. So they have no reason to, if they have no reason to want to put a road in, they can't be forced to, and they shouldn't be assessed at a higher value just because they can put the road in.
If you look at their valuation, it's higher than it was, but it's more reasonable now. Prior to this, I don't believe that they were reasonably assessed.
So, well, I guess the other point is no adjustments have been made because there's no access road.
No, they were adjustments made by KRT appraisal.
Because there's no access road?
If you look at the waterfront rates for these properties on Marshall Pond, they are the lowest in the town of Oxford, and they are also in line with what was done with off-grid, no road access to the Hebron properties on the other side. There's some information there in the updated memo there that compares, there's a spreadsheet in there that shows you what the Hebron side is. The properties that are cited on the Hebron side are also off-grid, no road. They don't have addresses, so they're comparable to the properties on the Oxford side of Marshall Pond.
There's no access roads on the other side.
I reviewed both aerial photographs. I talked to everybody around that had, that was from Hebron, and I didn't try and do site visits or anything out there, but you can look on a map, you can see where Shore Road ends, and then there are a bunch of camps beyond Shore Road that have no addresses and they're off-grid. That's what's contained in that spreadsheet in your packet.
you access that going down to Payne Road, or where did you?
There's a boat launch just a couple minutes, the camps are a couple minutes by boat.
Was the boat launch on the Haven side, right?
It was in Oxford, no, it's in Oxford. It's right on the edge of the pond, it's in Oxford, because we have a couple of, they're called dam lots right there. It's right by the dam for Marshall Pond, yeah.
Remember we had that discussion about the road? We had that road issue with in Oxford.
Right, oh, yeah. That's passable. The bridge, they can move it to the place.
Anything else
That's what I said.
from the board? Other questions?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. Thank the assessing agent for her time going out, and the chief and the game wardens. Wasn't a very nice day either, and even the code enforcement officer joined you. No other discussion? Still entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend or deny.
Second.
Motion and discussion, or motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of denial? All those opposed? 3-2. Motion passes. 5.5, annual appointment of election clerks.
So you have a list here. I would like to ask that you add Jerry Wax. The signature copy that you will get has her included, but she was a late addition.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor? It's a vote. .6, review award 2003 PL Custom Ambulance Ford E450 bid.
So the Board of Selectmen is aware that this posted on municipal bid. The highest bidder was $6,700. You have a print-off, looks like this in your packets. It shows you all of the bids that were made on this piece of equipment. So the board has asked whether or not they want to move forward with that or how they would like to proceed. I also have Fire Chief here for further discussion, answer questions on whether or not we need said truck and so forth, because I know that was another topic that wasn't settled before, so. How would you like to proceed?
Do we have the bids? Does anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion to accept the bid.
The top bid?
Yeah.
Motion and a second by Selectman Jackson and Jackson.
Chances are.
And discussion.
I still feel that we should keep on doing that. Seriously.
Anybody else? Fire chief? Opinion?
I think we should sell it 100%. If you have a cardiac monitor on there, that will cost $40,000 to replace, that no longer can be serviced, and a stretcher, that's about $30,000 that will need to be replaced as well, totaling $70,000, so I'd say I'd get rid of it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 4-1.
Take care.
5.7, town meeting location discussion.
All right, so as you can see, there's a few extra chairs in this room. So in the audience, there are 100 chairs in this room. That does not count the chairs for the board. I know that I talked to Caldy a little bit about, trying to have town meeting in this space. I took a look, and when you look at the last few years, well, I went all the way back to 2014, regular town meetings. I mean, the highest number was 111, and that was in 2022. All the rest of them, the highest number was 86. So you range from 57 to 79, 50, 76. So, I mean, it's pushing 100, but that's what we're generally seeing. I think we could get, more chairs in here on the far left where the computer is. I think we could put the department heads over there if you wanted to, so that would take them out of the audience as well. So I just want to throw that at the board and see what you folks think.
There's 100 chairs in here right now, Adam.
There's 100 chairs in here, excluding the board.
I say go for it.
Second.
What about parking?
So there's 50 parking spots out front, and if this is the direction we want to go, I will ask next door if they would allow us to put some of our overflow outside, at the mental health place.
I think it's a real good idea.
I think it is.
I as well.
Might be absolutely
Right. And speaking of that comment over here, then we make a motion.
I made a motion in a second.
Yeah, there was a motion. I think it'd be great if you voted
I
on it.
made the motion and Floyd seconded it.
But just to ask that you check with the neighbors sooner rather than later, because that could pose a problem. Probably need, well, it'd be nice if we needed 100 parking spaces, but I doubt it.
As the immediate neighbor, I have no objection. Right across
It's
the
gonna be easy for
You
us to
can,
just walk across the street.
Right.
Sell parking spaces across the street.
Yeah, yeah.
Premium.
So that's one less parking space that we need.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Vote.
Can I ask, is that pending permission from the neighbor, or is that just no matter what?
I think it's no matter what unless we change our mind.
Your prerogative.
I doubt there's going to be any issue, but.
Could park down in the ball fields too.
Yep, good. That's true.
We'll figure out the parking.
But there are 50 spots out front too, and most people don't come one car, like the thing.
Probably rent the bus for yourself too. School and county appropriations discussion. Those are some big numbers. I asked for this discussion because somebody had reached out to me on the school budget, which is 14% increase, plus they want a $2 million bond. It's a $2 million a year bond. Was that correct? You were, not to put you on the spot, but
I don't think it's every year.
at least a
It's
$2 million.
this year. That's not to say they won't ask for more next year, or less. The member of the school board reached out to me and wanted me to bring it up to you folks, board members, and see if anybody was inclined to go to the school board meeting on Monday. This coming Monday will be meeting, so I've extended the invitation like was extended to me. And, it is a substantial increase. But then you look at the county, I don't know why the county increase is so large. The county budget certainly isn't going up 33%, not anywhere near that. I want to say it was a 7 or 8% increase. So I'll be inquiring why the large increase for Oxford. Sharon?
I'm curious overall to know what is driving the increase in the school budget. Did the state not fund something because it's not just STAT 17 school district? I see here where ours is going up 657,000. STAT 44, one town, and there's 3 towns in that district, 573,000. So if you look at surrounding school districts, they're all unbelievable increases. And so something has to have driven that increase. And all I can think of is something from the state. And I have no idea either what the county's doing because, you know, I'm aware of other towns that are over $200,000 increase in just the county too. So we're looking, a lot of our towns are looking at $700,000-800,000 increase just with the school and the county. That's really.
It's quite a lot of money.
It is, and I don't ever recall an increase in both of them like that, especially an increase in the school district like that in a lot of years. I don't know if I've ever recall it being that high. That's why I'm wondering if it's something statewide that's driving those increases. And we have no say over it, other than to vote it down.
All I know is on the state level that legislative, they made a request to increase the price of the workers, to increase their wage, and we voted that down at this time because it wasn't going to be mandated by the state, it's going to be mandated by the towns. So that's why I voted against it, because it would have been a substantial increase just for Oxford and all the others around town.
So what are we being asked to do or attend, Dana?
I was asked to bring it up to the board to make sure we're aware, all the board members are aware of the increase, and encouraged to ask any board members if so inclined to go to the school board meeting, and maybe we can get a little more answers and say a few words if need be.
Did we ask our board members if they knew? Did we ask the Oxford representatives on the board?
School board?
I have not spoken to them. Would you like me to extend an invitation maybe to them or the superintendent to maybe come to a selectmen's meeting?
Sounds like a plan.
It sounds like good.
I think that's what should happen in this case. The superintendent should come and explain why the increase is the way it is.
No, the advertised Democrat today, I thought it said a 7.5% increase.
Overall.
Yeah.
I know years ago, the superintendent used to come to the select board meetings and
Explain.
explain all the increases. In fact, they used to go to every town in the SAD 17 district and hold a meeting. When I was on the school board for almost 9 years, we did that. I don't know if they still do it. I don't think they do, because we've never been invited to have any meetings here, and I think.
Used to have it at the school.
Yeah, we did. The school and the town.
Okay.
Okay.
Department head report.
So I did not include one tonight.
Town manager's report.
All right, so a couple of things from the town manager. The first thing is you have in your packets the draft town meeting warrant. Obviously, you see some things that are yellow. One of them was the location of the meeting. I think we've settled that. A couple other things I'd like to point out. Much of it is you know, pretty generic, the way that we usually do things. Article 23, I'd like to seek clarification on. That's the highway equipment account for the loader. If you remember in the budget process, that moved forward. Typically with a lease purchase approach, that's something that, you know, you would move forward with a lease purchase and then the debt service would be put into the debt service. But I wasn't feeling 100% clear. Is the intention for me to move forward with doing a lease purchase and then including the debt service? Is that the intention here, or are we waiting
I
to
thought
see?
that's what we thought, we didn't agree to that. I thought that's what we originally, wasn't what we were talking.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what the budget committee.
I just wanted to make sure I was understood. I'm gonna remove Article 23 and move forward with that then. All right. Thank you for that clarification. And then, you also have, prior to that, you also have your reserve accounts. So rather than do an individual article as a, for instance, for, Article 20 for the transfer station, instead of doing an individual article for all those individual things, I've done, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $220,000 for the transfer station reserve account, and then I break down what all of those things are, so that the folks on town meeting floor can see exactly what the things are. If they choose to support all of them or delete something, they can clearly do that. Is that acceptable approach for you folks?
I
Looks
think so.
good.
For me.
And then moving on to starting at Article 27, you have the solar energy facility moratorium ordinance that was discussed. I'm still working with the attorney on, if you remember LD 2003, there's some changes that need to be made to our zoning ordinance and potentially the shoreline zoning ordinance. I'm still ironing those out right now. But those are your warrant articles, and the public hearing is potentially going to be on the 9th of next month for those items for the planning board. So, also Article 33, I've been going back and forth with the attorney to seek clarification just to make sure we're in compliance with the foreclosure law. And then last but not least on the warrant is Article 42, and that's something that we had discussions about with, we'll talk about that in the selectmen's items, unless you want to talk about the referendum question now. But,
So how did you think we should do it? How did the lawyer tell you to do it?
So, well, first we had discussed the idea of putting a question on the town meeting warrant, asking if town meeting wanted to move to a referendum form of town meeting. In talking to the attorney about the warrant and going over things, a couple of things that he cautioned about is that if we put it on the town meeting warrant, that even though it's a non-binding question, it's a straw poll, that by being on the town meeting warrant, it could give the false impression that the selectmen have to do what is voted upon in the straw poll. It was recommended that the board consider potentially doing an unofficial poll, at the June election, maybe polling people as they leave, like a pollster would do. But he cautioned just from confusion's sake of putting it on the actual warrant. But that was just his thoughts, and he certainly said you can do it however you'd like, but I thought I'd repeat the caution. The board had originally decided to put it on the town meeting warrant, but I believe this came up at a couple meetings ago on how to approach this, so that's why it's coming back up now.
I just want to voice mine, I don't agree with that, so.
I second. Kenyon.
On not putting it on
Not putting it on, or doing it.
Right.
So you just want to forget about it?
That's my feeling. But you guys, the only one is,
I'm not supportive of going to a ballot type town meeting either, but I'm willing to put it to the people to vote or to do a poll.
Well, I don't really think it's gonna really amount to anything at a town meeting. The people that come to a town meeting, like going to a town meeting. I don't have a problem with us having a town meeting, I go. But I do have a problem on us spending $10 million with 50 people in 20 minutes. That's where I got a problem.
but that's,
I know you think we're doing a good job.
I think we're doing a good job, but at the same time, it's up to the people to get out and vote, or show up. I mean, it's just like.
Well, we change everything else to make it convenient for people. You guys are real good at that in Augusta.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Huh?
Trying to throw me under the bus, but.
No, I'm not throwing you under the bus, but I'm telling you. They change everything, they make it easy for this, they rank choice voting and do this and that, I'm just asking
And you'll
to
see-
put it out to the people.
If you look at my voting record, you'll see what it is. I'm 151, and I don't agree with it.
So,
You can't say you guys.
Well, I might have
You can lump
mentioned.
it, but it doesn't work.
Okay.
entertain a motion if somebody.
Hey, if everybody else thinks it's fine, then it's fine, I don't believe it, what's that, Scott?
Nope, go ahead.
No, I mean, I honestly believe at a town meeting, the only ones you're gonna get there are the ones that are at the town meeting, and they wanna keep it that way.
What's the
But I
benefit?
really don't think this, the amount of money we're spending here, and you got 50 people,
What's the benefit?
huh?
What's the benefit?
To a representation of what the town wants. In my,
But people should show up to a town meeting. I mean, Lois is here every single meeting. I mean, we're all guilty of not showing up, so.
Sharon,
The reality is, I've been sitting in meetings now, town meetings, probably a little less than Colby, but I'd say for 25, 30 years. People will go to town meeting if they want to, not because it's convenient or because of any other reason. There are people who don't have any interest at all in what the town is spending, and that's the truth. They don't want to get involved, and anyone who looks at the size of the budget, $10 million, if they don't have an interest, they're not gonna go no matter how convenient it is for them. In 4 towns I've been in, it has been the same way. And when you read all of the comments that managers throughout the state put on their listserv, they make the same comments. They have the same problems. It doesn't matter if you're voting on a weeknight, on a weekend, on a Saturday, if it's a referendum ballot, or if it is at a town meeting. They're going to go if they want to. And I think the reality is people just don't, they're not interested, they don't care. Not that they don't care, but they figure someone else is elected or hired to do their job. And someone mentioned we should have a town council. Well, to me, that is the least representation of the public, because if you have a town council form of government, the town council makes the decisions for the entire town. So I see nothing fair in that. We're giving people the opportunity to go to a town meeting. We're telling them where it is. We certainly do a lot better job at advertising and letting people know it's their choice if they want to go. So that's just my opinion. I actually love going to town meetings. It's the simplest form of government.
Adam, what's the usual turnout, at a ballot vote? What's the average number of people who turn out at a ballot vote?
Sometimes anywhere from 12 to 1,600.
12 to 1,600 voting on that budget makes more sense to me.
That's like a November.
100. What? Go ahead, Lou.
It's-
Don't hold back.
They just, it's that they will not be aware of what, they won't even understand the question on the warrant articles, because they haven't had the background to go by. They have no, they're either just gonna forget, put nothing, or they're just gonna put in a bad
You
mood.
don't have discussion.
So Floyd, just to clarify, I'm thinking of November ballots. I was just corrected on that. So that's when we get the 1,200. Sometimes, I think this last time it was in the mid-hundreds, like 150 or 60. I think some other Junes we've had significantly more than that, and there's been other, but it's not in the thousands. My error on that one.
Okay.
well, it's more than 60. I'll agree that there's more people there to vote, but.
I mean, is it gonna make a heck of a lot of difference one way or the other? I guess not, but in my opinion, if you're spending that much money, we should get as many participants as possible. Voice their opinion.
So if you have a referendum ballot vote, then I would suggest that you have several public hearings, so people can come to the public hearings and the budget can be explained. And that's part of the process of a referendum ballot, is because when they go to town meeting to vote, they can speak on the floor town meeting, question back and forth, and a referendum ballot, you go and you cast your vote. So we'd have to provide some form of public hearing.
I'm not saying you wouldn't.
No, I'm just pointing it out, I just want to make sure everybody understands that we would need to do that.
I was the one that said, I'm not willing to put it to a ballot vote to eliminate town meeting. Because you have 500 or 600
I think
people
you
that don't
got,
go
I
to
think you
town
get the
meeting.
vote, don't worry.
I'm more than willing to do a poll and see what people will answer. And I think we could do a poll at town meeting, and we could do a poll at the ballot box. And see what the numbers are, and look at it.
Well, I'm just
again.
thinking it might be, we can sit back and look at it forever, and it's never gonna change, or we could try something, it still may not change. I'm not saying that.
I don't disagree with you, $10 million is a lot of money, but they go to the ballots and they vote in that school budget every year with no questions asked. And that just keeps going up and up and up.
I get it. I get it.
Does anybody know what happens if you have a town municipal budget that's voted down?
You have to
At the
bring it
ballot?
back.
You
Yeah,
have to
you
do
bring
it
it
again.
back.
Yeah, but I mean, that could happen at a town meeting.
They could.
But the thing you don't know when you do a referendum ballot, you don't know if it's been turned down because people think it's too high or think it's too low. There's no way to tell that. The assumption would be because they think it's too high. But on the other hand, you may have people thinking it's not high enough.
I wouldn't mind.
Don't beat a dead horse, go ahead, vote.
I don't have a motion in a second to vote on anything yet.
Well, I made a motion to put it through a straw poll. Everybody second?
Second.
At town meeting or
I'd do it at
Yeah,
a
the
vote
ballot.
one too.
Poll.
Yeah.
motion? A motion to do a straw poll at town meeting and the June ballot. So two different straw polls. Second by Scott. Any discussion? All those in favor? 3 opposed? 2? Floyd, Scott, and myself approve.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that include on the town meeting warrant, or do you want that separate from the town meeting warrant? Sorry to beat the dead
Well,
horse.
I thought the way the lawyer didn't want you to do that.
Separate.
I'm
Separate,
okay doing it,
okay.
whatever way is legal.
I think if you just get up and ask townspeople, show of hands,
We
who
can do
supports
that.
or doesn't.
We can do the straw poll that way.
Since polling.
Okay.
All right, the next town manager item, there's just a couple quick ones. So future budgets, schedules and process discussions, I just wanna have clarity for the next year. First of all, I think things went well this budget season. I think other than that stupid storm, things were pretty smooth and on schedule. Some of the comments that were made to me by the selectmen and the budget committee is that Thursday nights seem a little bit rich, if you will, doing it all at once. So I was going to suggest this is a little bit step towards how it was done before, but I'd like to see us continue to do joint budget committee and selectmen meetings. I think it's good when the budget's presented to both. The department heads only have to come to one meeting, if you will, or possibly 2, but also everybody's getting the same information and hearing the same questions. However, if we did that on Tuesday nights, selectmen's business would be handled on Thursdays, just like it always is, the first and third Thursday. And then, the budget committee would vote the budget committee would vote on the proposed budgets on the last Tuesday of their meetings, and then the selectmen would vote on their budget on the following Thursday. One of the things that was said to me is that concerns of doing the voting at the same time in the same room, that maybe it should be done separately.
Is there really any reason for them, hearing it, and you get the people there that are representing the department that wants some money? I'd like to see them do it and vote it, whether we vote then or not, I don't know, but it seems like you get an extra night in it. When it's all fresh in their mind, that ought to be when they'd be voting, not wait till the very end and then just go read down through them one at a time and go on.
It'd certainly be my preference, if you're asking for my opinion. I mean, other places I've been, that's how we've done it. We present the budget, if there's
Well, they
follow-up.
used to do it here that way.
Mhm.
But this idea of doing it all, and then you get one more night tied up in it, well, you know, for them to come and improve it.
Yep.
That's just my suggestion. I might be the only one here that feels that way.
Dana, the other point on what Floyd just said, the night that everything is presented, individuals who may be at that meeting, but then may not be available at the meeting that it's going to be voted, or if someone wasn't available at the meeting when it was discussed, then they're there the night of voting. I mean, it can work both ways. So that would be the advantage of voting on it the night it's presented
Well,
by the people.
it seems like it's fresh in everybody's mind then.
So, I can agree with that, but it's not our position to dictate to the budget committee how they're gonna vote. I think we can strongly suggest, this is the night you're gonna propose the budget,
Well,
and have your
yeah,
presentation,
I mean,
and you
it's
should
their
vote
meeting.
on these departments
That's,
that night.
that's the thing about it, it's their meeting. We used to, since I've been on the board, the budget committee had had their meeting. The selectmen could attend if they wanted to or not. And then they made the recommendations, brought it to the selectmen, and then we went over it with usually the chairman or two of the people on the budget committee.
That's how they did it.
And that's how we did it, and we never had any problems. I don't know why all of a sudden, when we switched now, that the selectmen are having a meeting with the budget committee. Let them handle their own budget. It says right here, selectmen recommend, budget recommends. That's the way it used to be done.
So we're good with the presentation being to the budget committee, and we don't yell with the department heads and everybody coming back to
No,
another meeting in
to us.
front of us.
No.
We'll have everything we need, and we can attend the budget committee meeting when we want to attend.
Yeah, I'm okay.
If that's how the board wishes to do it, I'm happy to do it however makes you happy. I don't mean that to be a wise guy, I just,
That's how I feel, I don't know, like I always say.
all right. And then, but then have a final voting night for the
Right.
selectmen on that Thursday. Okay. All right, I can do that. And then,
Alternate,
sorry, Polly.
want to go back to Article 24?
In the warrant?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yep.
I don't know, I was thinking that, because of Rabbit Valley Road, and we talked to them, we said we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, to fix it. I think that we should look at being the price of fixing the whole thing, putting it out to a bond, and we should only get 2 more years of the other bond. Putting that in, because I'll tell you, I found out this yesterday, that towards the end of the month, I mean, the end of the year, in October, they're saying the interest rates on bonds are gonna be between 3 and 3.5%. I think it makes sense for us to get it done, and not have to do a Band-Aid approach to it every time we turn around. And I don't think personally, $250,000 is gonna do much to fix that over there. That's my own feeling. What's the thoughts?
Sharon?
So, I actually could consider that and think it makes sense, and when we looked at this in the budget, and it was 100,000, and then it was pointed out that that was for repair of all roads. And then I made the motion to increase to 250 after we talked about it, but again, that's for all roads. I do remember, and I thought about this quite a bit this past week, there were several meetings where people from the Rabbit Valley, residents from Rabbit Valley Road came to our meetings. And we could go back in the minutes, but I'm pretty sure that we told them that this year we would do something with that road. That 100,000 or 250 is not gonna do anything for that road. I travel that road quite a bit. It's still full of brush and debris that does need to be cleaned up. It hasn't been cleaned up yet. And it's actually out in the travel lane. The crew has done ditching. which is needed, and you can see the water just gushing down. But the problem that ditching is creating is that it's a deep drop off from the road. That's a very winding road. Just a couple of weeks ago, after one of the rains, there was quite a section as you get further up on the road from the village end of cones, because the road had broken off so severely. My concern is that someone is going to go off the side where all of the deep ditching has been done, and there's gonna be somebody really hurt. I do think that we need to get a bid out there, and I would have Rob Crew come up, and he probably has already estimated that road. And if I remember right, the ditching was gonna be underground.
Mm-hmm. It'd be just like Allen Hill.
Yeah, and I think that's what's needed, because that's going to eliminate those sharp drop-offs on the sides of the road. And I think right now that road is dangerous because of those deep ditches. And if you haven't driven that road, I really think, I would ask you to go up and take a look at what I'm talking about, because they are deep.
Same on Molly.
What's that?
Robbie and Nelson's actually.
I would agree. I went out the day of the storm, the day that we got the email complaint, and the
Yeah.
road crew had already repaired all the culverts that had washed out.
Yeah.
So they got to Rabbit Valley Road a lot quicker than they got to my road, and Lois's road, and just about any other road, so. I understand their complaints, I understand their plight, but we've had torrential rains that we've never seen before. I think there's lots of culverts over there that aren't big enough for the rainstorms we have now. You keep replacing the 12-inch culvert with a 12-inch culvert, you're gonna get the same thing when you have a big rain. So I think that road probably is top of the priority list for a complete redo like we did on Allen Hill. It's a matter of how you're gonna pay for it. I'm not a big fan of taking out another bond for another road when we haven't paid off the last bond for the last road. But, again, that would go to the people, and they would decide whether they wanna take a bond out or not.
How about we at least get a price on it and see what it would cost?
I'm all for getting a price and see what it's gonna cost.
Didn't Rob give us a price of like 1.8?
Yeah, I think it was a little less than that, Scott, but it was darn close to, it was 1.5, was it 1.5, 1.6? I think that's.
My point is, we can keep raising 250,000 or 100,000, keep putting a Band-Aid approach to everything, when we can get it fixed and put that money towards both. I mean, what's the sense of keep repairing and washing it, when we can do the culverts underground, taking care of, I mean, if you look at Allen Hill, that's held up pretty damn good. Your road is held up pretty good, except down on the lower side coming up from McKinley Falls.
Well, that's the biggest part of the road, is at the bottom of that hill where
Right.
it flattens out.
But I think compared to the past, as much rain as we had, it's still doing a better job than it did in the past.
The road is nice, but
Yeah.
we are losing the sides, and we didn't, the undercut from the,
Yeah.
I never knew why we did a 4-inch thing down the middle of the ditch.
Well, we did underdrain.
Right.
to Take care of that water issue in that stretch in front of your house.
Yeah.
That's all that's for, that's not for, that's just for groundwater, that's not for storm runoff.
The my opinion, the problem is, when the guy came to look at the road, or tell us what we need or whatever, there's a brook that comes down between my house and Linda, or whatever her name is, that it just massive amounts of water. And that's where it starts. We got the one coming down the hill, they took that out, and no longer goes across to the other side, which I can see that, because I wouldn't want it either. But sooner or later, somebody's gonna have to really figure out where the water's coming from and put it, it comes right down the middle of the road, and it goes in on comes down the hill in the middle of the road, and it goes in right where my driveway is. It goes in on the lower side of the driveway, it goes back into that ditch. and there's no, I don't, other than tearing the whole road up, I don't know how you turn it. I really don't, so I don't know, there might be a way to do it, and we just don't know, or what, but it isn't gonna get better.
I think you would have a general idea from compared back.
So, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
So, we are getting under the gun time-wise here, so I don't mean to be blunt. If you guys would like me to get things together for doing a bond, I will do that, and I'm gonna start on that tomorrow. I would also, if we're gonna go that approach, I might ask that the board consider the $250,000. If we're gonna go the bond approach, maybe do we stick with the $100,000 originally, because then we're gonna focus on Rabbit Valley Road, just as a thought.
That was my thought.
Okay, and then as far as the estimate from the engineer for the road, I'll ask him to refresh that, because it's been a few months, because I'm sure the material costs are different. And then my request for the bond will be the equivalent of that. I mean, we could also put it out to, I think it'd be a little premature to put it out to bid until we get that stuff squared away, but is that, what, am I hearing that's what the board wants to do?
That's what I do.
And you'll have the question on the warrant about the bond?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. I think that would be a good way to approach that, yes.
And given the fact that the selectmen, well, the budget committee voted for $100,000 on the road repair, but the selectmen voted for $250,000, do you think this would be appropriate to maybe do another motion to change that?
Yes. I make a motion, we change the $250,000 to $100,000 for highway improvement reserve account.
Second.
Motion in the second discussion. My question.
Go ahead, John. My question is, if we put a bond out also and they vote down the bond, you won't have the $250,000 anymore, but they can always reduce that to 50 at that meeting. And you could explain that that's what you want to do. But if they vote down the bond and you strike the 250, you're stuck with the 100,000.
Actually, that's the better way to go, because they can't increase it, but they can decrease it. So if we keep the 250, it can be explained. But I would have the bond article with the second. If the bond article passes, then the motion can be made that we can reduce this Article
We
20.
need a motion to do a bond for an undetermined amount that you're going to come up with from the engineer.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think if you guys are giving me direction, I will have that prepared, and at the next meeting, you guys can vote
Right.
to include it on the warrant.
Now, you get it on that by the budget committee too?
The bond?
The bond.
Good. I don't know, I'm asking.
No, because it's not part of the budget.
Did you want to withdraw the motion on
I
that?
will withdraw the motion.
I withdraw the second.
So I think we're good then.
Okay.
We'll be looking at voting to add a bond potentially at the next meeting. We don't have a motion because we don't have an amount.
All right, last couple of things for town manager stuff, and then I'll be done. One thing is a happy thing, Professional Clerks Week was, the clerks want to participate in this. It's May 5th through the 11th. Now, of course, that's passed. There's a proclamation for the board to note that that's Professional Clerks Week, and it kind of is a way to show respect and so forth for the clerks. Just came up the other day. I'd like to pass it along, and if the folks feel like it's something that we want to do, it's something that we can adopt, that'd be wonderful. While you're reading that, I will also mention 260 King Street. If the board remembers, that property was supposed to be demoed. It has not been demoed. We are working with the code officers, working with the attorney and myself on getting the bid package together for demo, and that will be coming to the board shortly. Lastly, in this room here, I told you folks that when the room was done that I would bring up the public access channel for cable. So I would like to ask the board, is that something that you're interested in? Are we more interested in just putting in a nice sound system and recording device so that then we can record it and post it the following day? I know that, we have all that equipment still, but at the same time, I think we were quoted about $10,000 to have it set up here, if I remember correctly was the quote, so.
So, I personally would like to see some numbers, what it's gonna cost to have that equipment installed here, as opposed to what it would cost to do exactly what you said, a decent sound system, microphone system, recording system, because, not that I have anything against Spectrum Cable, I'm a Spectrum Cable customer, but you're picking winners and losers. If you do the Spectrum channel, you're only getting the people that tune in, that have the ability to tune in on, if they have Spectrum. And there's a lot more people today that don't have cable television than there ever were.
Okay.
So I'd like to see prices, cost comparison.
The other thing, while you're looking at that, Adam, we should be able to use a lot of that same equipment. But on the video side of that, if we wanted to split that, I'm sure some AV person out there can figure that out quite easy enough. But, and, if we wanted to broadcast it or record it off that, I'm pretty sure, because I know another municipality that does it off their picture as well, so.
I can ask like a dual, doing, yeah.
And if Spectrum tells you that they own the equipment, let me know, I'll be more than happy to call.
Okay.
Because I know.
Anybody else?
Cool, thank you.
Just so the clerks know, they share that week with corrections officers and nurses.
Do you think we want to do a vote to support this? So that we can have, I think you get it.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Colby, Boyd, all in favor? Vote.
Thank you.
Done, you're done?
I'm all done talking, yes.
Time warrants?
Just under the
Selectmen items.
selectmen.
I thought we did that. No, we didn't.
Well, that was the future town meeting open, you did that, yes.
Any other selectmen items?
Go ahead, Scott.
I was told you were called about Staples Ave. Has Jim looked at that
About Staples Ave.
drainage?
I've been called about several places. I'm not recalling exactly if Staples Ave was the particular one, but I have sent him on several drainage issues. So I'm sorry, Scott, I'm not recalling.
No, so, really, first of all, the entrance onto Staples Ave off Potter Road
Yeah.
is nothing shy of atrocious. So, at some point, that really needs some patchwork done. The corner where it makes that right-hand turn where those big boulders are, like some other places in town, the snow wing is really piled up and dug quite a hole there on the corner, holds quite a bit of water. And that's at a couple different places down the road as well, so, I had 3 neighbors in that area to call on.
What was that one?
Staples Ave?
Yeah, Staples and Paul, yeah.
So it's just, the
Oh, and
whole
this-
road
and
is,
this line up Staples.
yeah. I think if Jim takes a look at that, I believe that's his nephew that lives on the corner by those rocks anyway, so, he's probably familiar with it, but, at some point, I think, if somebody was on the grader, they could probably fix a lot of that.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him and remind him on it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jim?
Suggestion, the tables. Can we, this is hard when we're straight like this. Can these 2 end tables be positioned so that we're more of a half moon or something?
What happened, what we had over the.
It's all, we've got it all in the other room. The reason the tables are like this is I wanted you
So
guys
the
to see.
town meeting.
You could do town meeting here, because I agree, we want them so we can all see each other, but if we do that, we lose the front row and then you wouldn't get the full effect. So,
This is the fact.
It's just we have to keep doing
Oh, yeah.
this. I can't see Kathleen.
Don't you say me.
She's like-
So did you ever give me a final, I mean, I think you did, the deal with the library as a third party, but it's not a third party, right? Or if, I still have a little trouble with that. Probably nobody else here does, I don't,
The library is a nonprofit, and they're making a funding request. Traditionally, the town has looked at that as a separate item from the other third-party
but
request.
technically, according to that handout we got, we're not supposed to be more than $2,000.
I would agree with you, I think you're right. They were always treated.
I mean, I don't wanna cut the library, don't take this the wrong
No,
way.
and I don't either.
Should we change the library out of that, or is well, I don't know how you do it, I guess there's no, everybody else understands it, and it's all saying we're good.
Well, the library is its own warrant article, separate from the third-party request.
Okay.
And as we discussed, Floyd, the request from the budget committee and the selectmen was from last year to have better financials, which they did provide, much better.
Yeah, I'm not, they were light years ahead of last year.
It is kind of a quasi municipal, it's not a municipal, but it takes the place of a municipal
Right.
library that we don't have, so.
And it was treated as one for a lot of years.
I bet the majority of people don't realize it's not a town library.
So we don't need to change anything there, it's good.
I think it's good with its separate article, the library is separate from the other
Good,
third party.
I'm good with that.
Anything from you, Colby?
Oh, just a question. Do you know whether the town, I requested from the state to fix that schoolhouse road coming on to 121? Did the town do anything down there? Or was it
Well,
the
they
state
put
did fix
something
that?
in there. I wouldn't say it was really primo.
Because
I'll ask Jim.
the state said they went in there for reclaim. but then
Oh,
I came
is the
back-
state did it, the town didn't do it?
Well, I see yesterday, well, this morning when I came home, I see that somebody put some stone dust in there, so.
I didn't go at it tonight, but somebody did put some reclaim in there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I cleaned the hitch off my trailer.
Jim, he said that, he told me, because that's what I asked about at the meeting, the last meeting we had, just last week, and he said that it was the water district was supposed to replace it.
What?
And I didn't know we even had a water district that replaced things like that. So, I don't know.
It's within state limits, and if anything
It is.
past that is towns. So that's why I contacted the state.
I
I just
don't-
want to make sure
Somebody put something.
they came on track.
Any other selectmen items?
Had a complaint. Oxford Street coming out on 26, go back a couple ways. There's a great big hole in the road.
On 26 or on Oxford?
On Oxford Street.
On our side? I don't go that way, because all the people from Massachusetts do.
Just think of the money.
Is that 26?
Going right up to Bethel. Well,
Well,
there's lots of holes everywhere, so, you know, you fall out in the Grand Canyon on Hebron Road at a couple places until they get fixed, so, just point them out. Jim,
I will.
I think they've been busy, so.
Yeah, they've been working hard. I definitely want to commend them for their efforts.
I do commend you.
Sign the warrants.
Thank you. You got warrants, and then here's your other signature items in the big business.
Ash
the budget available online?
Yeah, I broke.
It will be.
Okay. Do you know?
I don't know.
I will do it as soon as I can. Beginning next week.
Okay.
Usually we have it up by now, but we'll just.
I was looking for it last week. I thought maybe I was just searching back.
We lost a week because of the storms.
Yeah, and I forgot to show up last, I didn't even think that.
Yeah, usually I put the spreadsheets up so people
Yeah,
can look
yeah.
at it.
Okay.
Yes, this is the marijuana.
It was canceled. No, it was rescheduled. It makes sense that it would be rescheduled. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll also be doing the budget videos shortly as well for the 5 people that watch those.
Well, I'll look forward to that too.
The date, yes.
I'd like to make it 6, but, you know, no.
I was 6, I was a 6 person.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
You know, you might want to think about updating the town manager's page.
What?
The town manager's page, because I don't really think it's been updated since you've been gone here.
All right.
No, it's like you're thanking the town for, welcoming you.
They still are welcome.
Honeymoon's over.
Honeymoon's over?
Time to assert yourself.
I'll sit behind you guys, don't worry. I like to think this.
Strong.
Motion to sign 88, 89, 90.
Second it.
Motion and a second, discussion. All those in favor? Vote. Thanks.
Made motion to go into executive session for economic development matter pursuant to MRSA Title 1, Chapter 13, Section 4056C.
Should we have a picture taken before everybody goes? Is that what you planned on?
If you guys want to get a picture taken all together, that'd be lovely.
The only thing I'm saying before we go into executive session, whoever's gonna take the picture will be going.
I've got to come back and get your adjournment anyway.
I usually write it down for Wendy so you don't have to wait. Okay.
Am I good?
We made the motion, we can do a second, let's go do the picture.
Huh?
Do the second, and then ask people what quietly now, we can do the picture.
Cool.
So need a second. Second. Second by Colin, all those in favor? Vote. Thank you. We're just gonna take a picture.
You guys want to stand in front of the seal maybe or something, or stand together?
We got a seal?